Hello, Sangha. Welcome to the Abbots Address. Today is Thursday, March 16th. I'd like to begin some teachings about the hindrances to practice. Okay, there are certain barriers, difficulties that we pretty much inevitably will run into when we start taking up a practice or when we start trying to increase our practice. And since we're in Ango now, since Ango is upon us and everybody's made an agreement to kick their practice up a notch, guess what? There'll probably be some resistance to that in some moments that don't go the way we plan. So let's kind of take it on in advance and talk about some things that can be helpful. Now, there's a traditional teaching about this, and you find it in different traditions and different sources. And there's a number of these hindrances, and the first one is sense desire. Okay, is sense desire. And so this is talking about something that gets in the way of your ability to really practice. So say like you're deciding you want to sit zazen, right? And one of the things that can cut you down at the knees here is, boom, desire, right? That's attraction. Now this can show up through any of the senses. So, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind significantly. It'll be familiar to you from the Heart Sutra that we have eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. And for those who don't know, the mind in the Buddhist way of looking at things is another sense organ. It's another organ with which we perceive things, see. So you can find yourself hooked into through any of those gates. So for example, you might, when you're doing kinhin, you might really want to pay attention to the practice of the walking, but find yourself really interested in the drop ceiling. Suddenly that's fascinating, or the carpet, or that person over there, or whatever. So you're trying to practice and suddenly you find yourself drifting around. Maybe during a service, maybe the Densho bell is ringing at session, and you're supposed to be sitting there in shashu, concentrating and being present for the beginning of the service, but instead you're really interested in what's going on around, right? Maybe without even noticing it, but boom, you pop up and there you go, right? So in this case, the sense desire is coming in through the eye. That's actually the eye wanting to see, you could say. Would be a way to think about it. Sounds, smells, tastes, sensations through the body, sensuality, and so on, as well as emotions. So what do we do if we feel that what's going on is a sense desire, an obsession or a clinging or a grasping to sense desires getting in the way of our practice? The first thing is to recognize it, is to actually see it, to be able to see that this formation is occurring, is rising in you, that in fact there's an attraction that's going on and it's pulling you out of your practice. So we have to be able to first of all recognize and see that this is occurring. Most of the time that doesn't even happen. It's just the attraction is going on and we're already taking actions to fulfill the attraction, or without even noticing it. Maybe sitting there and giving that a lot of mental space before we've even noticed it. So we want to recognize it, we want to see it as soon as possible. And then we acknowledge it. We take responsibility for it, see. Acknowledge it. So acknowledge that this craving has entered the space and is pulling you away from what your intention is. And then we want to let it go, right? Just let it be, let it go, and come back to the practice, whatever the practice is. Now, many times, that totally does it. You see it, you acknowledge it, you let it go, and boom, you come right back, okay? But sometimes not so much. Sometimes the thing comes back, and again, and you see it, acknowledge it, let it go, and boom, comes back. And so in that case, we want to then turn our attention towards this and pay attention to it and investigate it, inquire it, notice it, witness it, but bring the attention to it, see. So let's say that we determine in ourselves that there's a sense desire for pizza. there we are. We've determined that this is a factor, a mental factor of pizza lust has come upon us, right? So there we are. There's the pizza. There's you, right? And you want to practice, but there's a nice juicy pizza there, and you'd like the pizza, but okay, what are you going to do? See the pizza, acknowledge the pizza, let the pizza go and come back, but the pizza's still there, beckoning you, right? Okay, so we can't let it go. It comes back and back and back. Fine. Now we're going to investigate it. Now, when you look into the sense desire that's getting in your way, okay. Now hear me on this. It's not to say that all sense desires are evil. That's not the point. The point is that when you're deciding to practice, this is one of the ways that'll get in the way of your ability to really practice, to really be there. Okay, it's not that desiring food is inherently an evil thing or anything like that at all. Okay, but not now, Cato. Right now, we're doing this thing. See, so there's some techniques of it, techniques to deal with it, and it depends a little bit on what's hooking you. Okay, so. For example, if we stick with the pizza thing, so one technique to do is to see the opposite. Okay, you turn it and you see the opposite. So, for example, if the idea of a pizza is upon you and relentlessly attacking you with its pizzaness, and you want to get the pizza going, and you find yourself not sitting because you're thinking about pizza, then one thing you can do is you can flip it and see it as the opposite. So the opposite would be like, instead of a delicious, tasty, wonderful thing, like pizza can be, right? You look at it and you view it as, now imagine a pizza. There's a pizza, right? You see the pizza, you imagine the pizza, and there's a little cheese, pepperonis, or whatever. And then imagine that not as cheese and pizza goodness, but imagine it as pus. Imagine it as pus, see? It's a big thing of pus. That's what it is, see? It's pus. Ew, right? And then concentrate it as pus and smell the pus and see the pus and kind of gross yourself out with the pus, okay? And associate that pizza with the pus. So you're actually flipping it, see? You turn it into another thing. So you basically, what you're doing is you're taking the record player image of the pizza that's drawing you towards it, and you're scratching the record so it can't play anymore. And you see the pizza and you think of pus. See? Yeah. And who would want to eat pus? Nobody. Right? So that's one technique. So if you find yourself particularly drawn to something in a way that's not healthy for you, one technique is to see the opposite. So this thing seems really attractive, focus on the opposite. Flip it. See? And then this can actually cut the desire. It can actually change, you can rewire your relationship to the thing. See, even mundane folks that do behavior modification psychology and stuff will do these kinds of techniques. They work great. See, now another thing to do is to focus on the harmful effect of the thing. See, so maybe you still see the pizza as pizza, but you focus on the clogged artery, and you make that really real to you. Like you really see, imaginatively, see your arteries clogging and clogging and clogging, and feel the pain in your chest where there's no circulation happening and you can't do anything about it, and you're falling over and the clogging is going on and you're dying. And just make that really vivid, see, in your mind. And you take the negative consequences and turn the volume up on them. So you think about your loving family you've abandoned through your foolish obsession with pizza. You've left them all behind for this nothing of this pizza. And you really get involved in the loss that this would cause. You know, how much it would hurt your spouse, your kids, your mom, whatever. But go with it. Go with it. And again, what this does, see, the first one is you turn the pizza into the opposite, and the second one is you take the negative consequences of the thing you're obsessing about, which frankly we obviously mitigate. I mean, when you're obsessing about something, you take the negative things and you diminish them, and you take the positive qualities and you make them big, and then you just get obsessed about it, see, and you just do the opposite consciously. You just decide to, see, and you make that real and vivid, and you go there, and then that becomes a stronger force than the attraction to the pizza, see. So that's another way in. And then what's the third one? The third one here is to see, and this is the third of three, is to see the pizza or the pleasure that you get from eating the pizza as impermanent. Okay, it's impermanent. There you go again. How many pieces of pizza have you had? And then here you are now just wanting another one. So no matter how many pieces of pizza you have, you always end up wanting more. See, look where you are right now, see? So the pleasure that you get from the pizza is fleeting. And really tune into that and tune that up. So you can really see that, look, you know, I'm making this massive thing about pizza in my head, but honestly, you know what? So I go crazy on this pizza, and then it feels good for a minute, and then it's gone. And then I'm just going to want more. See? It's impermanent. The pleasure is not this great thing. It seems like this great thing. When you're in the heat of it, and it's got you hooked and pulling you along, what it's pulling you along with is this unexamined offer of permanent pleasure. You'll feel great, see? But now you can undo that by saying, maybe I'll have some pleasure for a moment, but only just that. See, so it's impermanent. It is not the permanent answer to anything. And so you can kind of drive wedges in the thing with these three approaches. Turn the thing itself into the opposite, see it as, make it repulsive, or focus up on the negative consequences of the thing, and then focus on the impermanence of the supposed payoff for the thing. And between those three, you're hacking away at it, at its ability to really yank you around. And if you really do it, what you'll find is you're not really interested in pizza anymore. And you can go ahead and let that idea of pizza go away, and then just go right back into your sitting and practice the way you should be doing. Or the moment, whatever the moment brings you to be, whatever the practice of your life is at that time. Now this obviously applies not just to pizza, okay? This applies to, again, think about it, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, right? So it's the same thing. If I've got a mental state or something like this that I'm feeling attracted to, like I've always got to make myself feel a certain way, it's the same thing, see? So if you notice that your noble attempts to engage your practice get cut off at the knees by sense desire and attraction and greed and obsession and addiction and this kind of thing, then we have clear ways to respond. Clear ways to respond. First, see that it's happening. Second, acknowledge that it's happening. Third, let it go. Fine. And then come back to the moment. Now, if it keeps coming back at you, then you investigate and inquire. See, bear witness to it, and you can start hacking it off. See, you can start attacking it by turn it into the inverse, focus on the negative consequence, focus on the impermanence of the payoff, and then set that in, seal it, and be done with it, and then come back to the moment of your practice. So as the next weeks unfurl, I'll explore some of the other hindrances that can get in the way of your practice and what to do about them. But for now, let's focus on this one, okay? This is the greed demon. Let's get it together, folks. One announcement for the Sangha that I want to hold up. We're getting ready to launch the new Sangha Circles effort for the community. And what that is, for those that don't know, is these are 3 meetings over the next 3 months, so 1 month per meeting, that happen in individual Sangha members' homes. There are Sangha members who volunteered to host, and that these meetings happen at different days and times. All of the different meetings will be happening with the same reading and a structure. There's a format that we use. And the result is that you're with one group for 3 meetings over the period of Ango. And it's a time that works for you because you've selected it. And you meet with a group of, maybe 5 to 6 or 8 at the most folks and from the Sangha. And you get to know them. And you get to have conversations. And you get to have some Dharma from the community, and you get to have your voice heard and interact. And it's a fantastic way to connect with the community and to get to know some other people in the community outside of, being just at the temple space or a retreat or what have you. Okay? So I'm going to put that link below here somehow. Magically, it'll be there if I can do it, or if not, it'll be in the comments or something. And it's there for you to go ahead and link to go ahead and try to sign up. Okay? So please get involved in the Sangha Circles. Everybody, be careful about the hindrance of sense desire. Learn how to wield sense desire well. Big deal. Big stuff. Thank you, everybody.